So let's take a look. This is your first swing of the day over here. And the main thing we talked about is just kind of separating body parts. And because everyone's trying to get energy into their swing from somewhere, force. And we need to load a force to get a force to something. And and that force is trying to create speed. And when you get trouble in your swing, you're instinctively trying to get speed as fast as you can in the system, and that's when you get in trouble. And so the first thing we talk about the backswing, we need a little bit more resistance on the way back. In your original swing here, you'll see yourself move, and it's a lot of upper body. You're not really resistant at this point. So what we talked about is to build, and our 6 things we could possibly move things are your shoulders, your hips, your wrist, your ground forces, basically your thighs and legs pushing off the ground, and your core muscles. Those are the 6 things we can help store up energy and get it in correctly. Your first natural motion is you kind of move from the hip and the shoulders to get a backswing. The problem is it's top heavy, meaning right there I could easily push you over because you're not really using the ground or any resistance in your backswing. And because of that, if you're top heavy and you don't really load up any energy from here, you're going to move from here, which is basically now, before you have a chance to go, instead of working from the ground up, which is what we want, you're going to turn from the shoulders and twist. And that's your speed. And if it doesn't go very far, you just kind of recycle the same motion. And you're trying to time how to stay down as you're getting the speed, but constantly being pulled away from the thing that you keep wanting to hit. So the main thing we talk about here is feel a little bit more resistance in your core muscles. So we engage that feeling. We engage that feeling by just doing a couple drills, trying to feel that core muscles. Now we need to create a spring effect to do that. We're going to have some type of resistance. So you kind of felt your thighs or maybe your hips. Somewhere right here, you're going to feel like you're resisting as long as you can towards the ball. As you move here from the center of your body here, you feel resistance here in your core. And this keeps everything right there. You're starting to feel a wind-up feeling here instead of just a twist. So right now, you should feel much more engaged here and less up high in your swing up there. Now in this swing, your swing, what we did, it felt shorter to you, but actually see that you're not really shortening your swing. We're just storing up energy in a different place. Now, because of this is kind of like a spring, your natural force will move from the lower half. You'll see the hip kick first. You'll see this, how much your hip moves laterally. That means we're stored up energy. Athletically, you're going to move, and there's the bump. When you bump, your hands drop down in the slot, and your head doesn't move. Because you're top heavy here, trying to get a speed in your swing, there is no transition. You just spin. You'll see the hip just spin away and the shoulder spin. So you're not really doing the kinetic chain we need. So you spin and pull. Here, because of all the resistance here, you naturally, before your hands got to the top, they were already bumping. See, that's what we want. And that's a natural thing if we resist. Now from here, you've got all this lag in your swing. Your body hasn't opened up. Over here, the club's already released out. That club is already released out and your shoulder's spinning away, so you really don't have any power to the ball. Here you stored up that energy, and that gave you the feeling like getting power to the air, and that's where you want to feel power right there. You should never feel speed at this point. There's a load, there's a force of a hit, and the speed is going to be right there letting it fly through. That allows you to release that club instead of pulling it across your body that way. And that's why your shoulders at the same point. You'll see your shoulders at a whole different angle where this is staying down longer, this is pulling away. The problem is that anytime you start trying to get as much speed in your system, you're going to recycle the same pattern of energy. Remember, you have an energy problem, not a technical problem. You need to replace energy, replace one other force with different. You can't just say don't do things. We're trying to do other things instead of that. So going back to some drills that we talked about here that you'd always need to keep doing to separate these things. So when we turn the club upside down and just put an impact bag or something down in front of it you can lightly hit, first thing I'm doing is I'm feeling core muscles on the way back here where I'm hugging. I'm keeping this arm next to my body so it doesn't want to go away from me. This arm is freely moving up and down like I'm throwing a ball, but not from my wrist. And I'm going to resist my thighs as long as I can, and my feet are going to kind of push and resist, where I feel a resistance here and here like a spring. And I'm loading up energy. And when I get there, you'll see my hip naturally bump. And that's what I want, that feeling of going up and dropping it down, just like you did here. So now you're in this hitting position we just got here. Now from here, we're not in the speed yet. Here's where you would be trying to get too much speed. This is a force. I'm trying to hit the bag with my core, my legs, and the ground, and my arm. That's a hard or powerful feeling, not a fast feeling. The speed right here, this club right here is still in a dormant position, meaning it's in a lagging position, so it really doesn't have any speed at this point. But this force is going to turn this thing into a catapult or a slingshot right about there. But we need a force instead of you just trying to still get speed. Right there is your force hitting the bag. And then we can let it fly through there. So it's really just seeing that you got to separate the difference between you trying to create a force at the right time with resistance and not just trying to move your shoulders as fast as you can. If you don't, you just keep looping in the same thing over and over. So you have to keep practicing this sequencing. Do you feel that difference when you're hitting? Take a tour player. So here's Jon Rahm, who doesn't have, people think he doesn't have a big swing. What he doesn't have is what somebody sees long. What he does is has a powerful swing, meaning he is really using the ground, his core, and his forces in a wind up. And he's going to create that energy right here before he can, that's him hitting the bag like we just did. That's his force. And then that's the letting it go feeling. So you got to work on separating that. The only way you can do that is hit a lot of 9-irons. Feeling these drills get here. If you go with a driver, it's just going to be happening too fast. You got to feel some 9s and wedges. Feel that force feeling like you're hitting the bag and then let it fly. And that's a good visual for you to get that power. And this keeps everything down through the shot. There's your, see right here, we go back here. These angles, you have all that lag, the same as he's at here. There's the hit. There's the hit. And there's the release. And there's the release. And there's the finish. There's a finish. So if you do it in the right order, you'll have these positions. But I really don't teach positions. I'm just showing you when you do have the right energy in the right form, you get these positions for consistent hits.